Hey everybody, I'm at it again on this 2000 Monte Carlo. I changed out the strut and the axle shaft and the control arm. And I said I was going to change out later the tie rod end, the outer tie rod end, which I just picked one up today and that'll get put in today. But the entire culprit was the motor mount. And if I had replaced the motor mount, say 3 months ago, I would not have had to have replaced the axle shaft for sure. And I think that the struts probably wasn't a bad idea because they were old. But here's the telltale sign. I don't know why that's popped in like that, but it is. This boot, it's kind of like popped in. But if you watched my original video on this, I said that there was this wall of grease all here that had come out of the boot, but it was fresh. There wasn't any dirt or grime on it. And so it was like, it happened real recent. Like literally, it's what made me, the only reason I found out about it was because I had a flat tire up here. And so I took the tire off, and that's when I saw all the grease. Now, where am I going at? What I'm going at is this. It had just happened, and then things started to click. Now, this is something that I hope makes sense. Prior to all this, the car had sounded like it was misfiring or stuttering. Whenever I'd pull up to a red light, and you're in drive, or you're at a stop sign, the car would kind of like make the sound. And I did actually find a couple of vacuum leaks, which helped some when I fixed them, but it still never went away. And then the last time that I had driven this to work, I got to work, I got in the car that morning. And started up, shifted and all, and went to work. I parked when I got to work, and then I got back in the car to go again, and it was, the shifter was harder to shift, and it was real hard to get it into third, and second and first was not impossible. It was like, man, what's going on here? So the point I'm getting at is this: if you've got for sure a Monte Carlo or any car with a shifter there in the middle, automatic with motor mounts like this, and all of a sudden you're having a problem shifting it, and your car's been making like this weird vibration type of sound when you're at stop signs or red lights, you probably got a bad motor mount. There's the old motor mount. You can look at it. I mean, this thing is completely shot. You see that? I hope you see what I'm saying. The motor was just flexing in there as much as it wanted to. This thing, I don't think you couldn't have gotten any worse when you compare it to the new one, which is going to make a huge difference, and I'm quite positive the shifter will now, work better. Now, I'm not showing you how to pull this out, but there's a guy on YouTube, and I'm going to show you his website right now, and he shows you how to do this, and he's doing it on a Chevy Impala. I think it's a 2003. Well, that's the story of my life. YouTube is unavailable. The internet goes out here all the time, starting usually around 12 in the afternoon till about 6 in the evening. It's off and on and off and on. And I subscribe to the guy, and it's not Chris Fix, but I think it's Quick Fix. But if you type in 2000 Monte Carlo replace motor mount, his will pop up, and he really, gives you a very good example of how to do it. And then I'm going to just throw in a couple other little things that I learned along the way doing this. Well, how you like that? Just came on. His channel is Quick Fix Hair, and I like the way he shows how to do it. He's actually got 2 different videos up there talking about how to do it. And I'm surprised there isn't more on there. More people have put stuff up, but he's about the only person from what I could see. Okay, I'm back out here now. The strut, the constant velocity axle, and the control arm, they were all, you know, I'll call them semi-difficult. You know, you actually need help with this unless you got really long, strong arms, I guess. And, you know, it was work. Now, I had a mechanic, I was talking to him, this mechanic I know, and he kind of said, oh, yeah, that stuff's pretty easy, but you don't want to tackle that motor mount. They're really tough to do. The motor mount was the easiest thing. You didn't have to, you got to take the tire off, but you didn't have to go. So far, it's been easy. Now, the guy that I just showed you that has the video up there, a quick fix, he does have a little bit of trouble once you get the mount in, lining it up with the holes. And there seems to be two schools on this. One, you put this in and you get, when you try to lower it onto these studs, you gotta, it's gotta line up. Or you put this on first with, I'm sorry, I'm backwards. When you put this in there, you got this, yeah, that's right. Okay, hold on, I'm putting the cart in front of the horse again. That metal plate came off the old mount, okay? Now, after I got the old mount all loosened up and the motor jacked up, I couldn't still get the mount out until I took this off. Once this was off, this came out easy. And again, it's all 15 millimeter. But when you go to put it back in, of course, I'm going to clean this all up nice, and then you got to attach it to here. Then the question is, do you put this in first, or do you tighten this back up? You tighten that plate back up onto the mount and hook the mount up to the engine. Either way, you're going to be dealing with trying to line up. You're either going to be trying to line these up with the holes in the frame, or you're going to be trying to line up with the bolt that goes in the front here and the two bolts that go here. I'm going to go with putting this on, so I'm only dealing with trying to line up these two instead of trying to, move the motor around and line up three. Now, having said that, I don't know if this will help or not, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. By the way, there's another video on there that says you got to take this off, and I didn't, as you can see. I left it on, and I had plenty of room. I think I could have even jacked it up a little more. And then I am going to put in a new transmission mount. And I mistakenly looked up motor mounts because I'm used to old school stuff and a motor mount on both sides. And they didn't show a motor mount for here. And I thought, gee, how come nobody's done a video of that? But this is the transmission mount. And the transmission mount is real simple. You don't have to take any bolts off from the frame. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4. This thing's already jacked up, but what I did was I loosened these up, the two top ones and the two bottom ones, to give this motor, I didn't take it off, but they're loosened up, so that I think it will help in moving the engine around when I'm trying to line up. It gives it, it's more easily flexed. And this motor mount was actually, I think it's still serviceable, but since I already bought the new one, and the new one is, it's harder. This is a little spongy. It is spongy somewhat, which I guess some of them, because from what I could see, some mounts are spongier than others, but since that other side is hard, the motor mount side, I'm going to go with the same type over here for the transmission. And then I hope I'm making sense with this, though. You know, with these being loosened up, I think it'll make it easier when I go to line up them bolts, because I don't want to mess up the threads. Yeah, see that? That's how you lose shit. Anyways, and then, you remember when I was putting in the constant velocity shafts, and I said one was 15 millimeter, and the other, I'm sorry, 36 millimeter, and the new one they gave me was 35. I don't know if you can see it or not, but those things started to round off when I was trying to get it in and snug it up. And if you can look, this thing here's got way more stuff to grab onto with that socket than this one does. And the threads seem to be the same. See that? So guess what I'm gonna go with when I put the other one on. I'd almost want to take this one off, but I had such a hard time getting it on, I'm afraid to take it off. It even looks like it got twisted in there a little bit. So check these out if you put in new axle shafts. If you can, stay with the old original equipment for your nuts, and because they're 100 times better. This stuff was crap. I mean, totally. Well, I apologize for the fact that my videos aren't the greatest. I'm just winging them, and half the time I can't remember what I wanted to say. It sounds great in my head, but it never comes out so great when it's coming out of my mouth. But I think it can help you, because, you know, I'm learning as I'm doing, so I'll make mistakes. Everybody, you all have a great day, and it's about 80-something. It's about 82 out here right now. I'm sweating, and today is the 21st of February, so if you're up there, I talked to a lady yesterday in Bloomingdale, Illinois, and she said it was freezing. She says, it's freezing up here. We'll see y'all.